Have you ever noticed how sometimes the universe seems to whisper to you? You think of someone and they call. You dream of a symbol, and the next day you see it in a stranger's tattoo. You hesitate before leaving the house, and that small delay saves you from an accident you never knew was about to happen. We call these moments coincidence. But what if coincidence is just the surface shimmer of something infinitely deeper? The quantum rhythm of consciousness itself, synchronicity. Carl Jung gave the word form, but the experience is as old as thought itself. It's the language of the universe, not spoken, not written, but felt. A mysterious choreography connecting mind and matter across time and space. What if every synchronicity is a data point, a signal from the fabric of reality itself, revealing that your consciousness is not separate from the world, but an active participant in its unfolding? To understand synchronicity, you must first let go of the illusion of separation. The universe, at its most fundamental level, is not made of matter, it's made of relationships, of patterns, of probabilities that only collapse into form when observed. Quantum physics tells us that the observer is not a passive spectator. The observer is a co-creator, and in that realization lies the key. Synchronicity is not just happening to you, it's happening through you. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you emit, ripples outward into the quantum field. That field, call it consciousness, the zero-point field, the unified field, doesn't forget. It's not somewhere out there, it's here, within and without, an infinite ocean of potential. When you think a thought, you are tuning a frequency. When you feel a truth, you are aligning with a pattern. And when both thought and feeling converge in coherence, the field responds. That's what synchronicity really is. The feedback loop between your inner state and the quantum field of infinite potential. The universe mirrors you, not to mock you, but to teach you that everything you seek is already within you. The external world bends itself to match the internal vibration you sustain. You can see this in small moments. The song that plays just as you think of someone. The number that keeps appearing. The encounter that feels predestined. But beneath those signs lies something more profound. A code. A cosmic code that reveals how consciousness interacts with probability itself. Imagine the quantum field as an infinite sea of waves. Each wave a possibility, a version of reality waiting to be observed. Your consciousness, through focus, acts like a lens, collapsing waves into form, shaping reality moment by moment. Most people drift unconsciously, their thoughts scattered, their emotions reactive, collapsing random patterns. But when you bring intention into alignment with emotion, when your mind, heart, and energy cohere, you become the conductor of your own quantum symphony. Synchronicity increases. The improbable becomes natural. Life begins to flow. At first it feels magical, even eerie. But it's not magic, it's resonance. Just as two tuning forks vibrate together when struck in harmony, your consciousness and the universe vibrate together when your inner frequency matches the outer event. The universe doesn't speak English or numbers or symbols. It speaks resonance. It speaks energy. That's why ancient mystics said, as above so below, as within so without. They understood long before quantum mechanics that the micro and the macro are reflections of each other. That consciousness and cosmos are one continuous fabric. And now, as quantum science begins to map the structure of reality, we're rediscovering what spirituality has always known. There is no true separation between mind and matter, between you and the universe. But here's where it becomes transformative. Once you realize synchronicity is not random, that it's a conversation, you can begin to listen. The patterns, the signs, the alignments, they become guidance. The universe speaks through the path of least resistance. When something flows effortlessly, it's a sign you're in resonance. When everything feels blocked, it's feedback telling you to adjust your frequency. The universe is not testing you, it's teaching you how to align with the rhythm of creation. We are trained to believe in cause and effect, in linear time. That event A causes event B, one after another. But the quantum world doesn't work that way. At the quantum level, time is not linear. It's a holographic field where past, present, and future coexist in potential, interconnected through what physicists call non-locality. That means a change in one part of the system can instantaneously affect another, no matter the distance. And what's more, the observer's expectation influences which potential becomes real. Now imagine that your consciousness is not limited to your brain, but extends into this field. You don't create reality from nothing. You select it from infinite possibilities. Synchronicity is the breadcrumb trail showing you what you've already chosen at a higher level of awareness. You are not walking through life. You are surfing a field of probabilities. Each thought shifts your wave function. Each emotion collapses a new reality. Synchronicities are echoes, reflections of your frequency across timelines. That's why they feel familiar. You're literally meeting yourself across dimensions of possibility. So when you experience synchronicity, pause, breathe. Instead of brushing it off as coincidence, ask, what is this showing me about my state of being? What vibration am I emitting that is now returning to me through form? Because the universe never speaks in accidents, it only speaks in mirrors. We are entering a new era of understanding where spirituality and science are no longer opposites. They are merging into one story. Quantum physics gives language to what the mystics felt. The mystics give meaning to what quantum physics describes, and together they reveal the ultimate truth. Consciousness is not a byproduct of the universe. Consciousness is the universe experiencing itself. That means when you shift your consciousness, you shift your universe. When you raise your vibration, you move into new layers of reality, new timelines, new opportunities, new synchronicities. This isn't just philosophy. Experiments in quantum coherence and heart-brain synchronization are already showing measurable effects. Your electromagnetic field extends several feet beyond your body. Your emotions modulate that field, and the quantum field, that ocean of potential, responds to coherence like music, responding to harmony. When you are coherent, reality becomes symphonic. When you are fragmented, reality becomes static. So the next time you experience a synchronicity, remember, it's not luck, not randomness, not superstition. It's feedback from the universe that you're in alignment with a higher order of intelligence, an order that transcends logic but obeys resonance. And the more you listen, the louder it speaks. Until one day you realize the universe isn't outside you at all. It's you, dreaming itself awake. The deeper we look into the mystery of synchronicity, the clearer it becomes that the universe is not a collection of separate things but a network of entangled relationships, a vast web of consciousness in motion. At the heart of it lies one of the most mysterious discoveries in all of physics: quantum entanglement. When two particles become entangled, they are no longer distinct. They share a state. Change one, and the other changes instantaneously, no matter the distance between them. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because it shattered the boundaries of classical understanding. But perhaps it wasn't spooky at all. Perhaps it was a glimpse into the true fabric of existence, a fabric not woven of matter but of connection. Entanglement shows us that separation is an illusion, that what happens here can affect what happens there, not through signals or waves but through unity, as if both points are the same point viewed from different angles of perception. And if particles can be connected beyond space and time, why not consciousness itself? If everything arises from the same quantum field, then you and I, the stars, the oceans, every atom of every galaxy, we are all part of one infinite entangled system. That's the secret behind synchronicity. It's not that events are magically aligning for you. It's that the entire universe is one field of entanglement, expressing itself as you. Your thoughts ripple through that field. Your emotions sculpt its geometry. And what we call manifestation is the field reorganizing itself to mirror your inner vibration. Imagine the quantum field as a cosmic ocean, and consciousness is the wind. When your thoughts are scattered, the wind is chaotic. The waves crash against each other, forming turbulence. But when your intention becomes focused, calm, coherent, the wind aligns and the waves begin to dance in harmony. That's when synchronicity happens. That's when reality begins to flow like liquid light. Now the question arises, how does this field store and reflect information? For that we look to another quantum revelation, the holographic principle. Physicists discovered that the information of a three-dimensional system can be encoded on a two-dimensional boundary like a hologram, where every fragment of the image contains the pattern of the whole. That means reality at its deepest level may be holographic, a projection from a higher dimensional field. And if that's true, then every point in space, every atom, every cell, every moment contains the blueprint of the entire cosmos. This is why ancient mystics said, "The universe is within you." They weren't speaking metaphorically. They were describing a truth that science is only now beginning to confirm. In a holographic universe, the observer is both the projector and the screen. Your consciousness encodes reality, and reality reflects that encoding back to you. So when synchronicities appear, The numbers, the symbols, the encounters that defy logic, they are echoes from the hologram, messages from the higher dimensions of your own being. You are not stumbling into random chance. You are awakening into the recognition that the hologram responds to the vibration of your awareness. When you become conscious of this dance, you step into your true creative power. You begin to manifest not by forcing but by aligning. Manifestation is not about bending reality to your will. It's about attuning to the frequency where the version of reality you desire already exists. Every possible reality already exists in the field. You don't create abundance, love, or opportunity. You tune into it. Like changing the station on a radio, you shift your frequency through emotion, intention, and belief. The signal you emit becomes the experience you receive. And the proof of your alignment shows up as synchronicity. The universe starts speaking in a language only you can understand. A private dialogue between your higher self and your physical experience. But here's the paradox. Synchronicity doesn't appear to prove you're powerful. It appears to remind you that you are connected. It's not about egoic control, it's about conscious communion with the quantum field. The field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Your vibration, not your vocabulary, writes the code of your reality. This is why meditation, gratitude, and coherence matter. When you quiet the noise of the mind, you slip beneath the surface of the wave into the stillness of the ocean itself, the zero-point field. There, intention becomes pure. Emotion becomes magnetic. From that place of silence, synchronicities multiply because your signal is clear. You've stopped sending mixed frequencies into the universe. You've become a single resonant tone. Quantum entanglement reveals connection. The holographic principle reveals reflection. Together, they form the architecture of manifestation. You and the universe are not two things. You are one infinite process, self-observing, self-evolving, self-creating. You are the consciousness that animates the hologram, and the hologram responds with synchronicity to remind you who you are. This realization changes everything about your reality, because it shifts you from a victim of circumstance to a participant in creation. The events in your life stop feeling random. The people you meet stop feeling accidental. Every encounter becomes a mirror. Every challenge a message. Every coincidence a code. It's all consciousness communicating with itself. When you look at life that way, even pain becomes sacred, because it's feedback from the field, inviting you to expand your awareness. Think of your life as a grand experiment in quantum coherence. Every time you act from fear, you collapse into lower probability fields, fragmented realities where synchronicity seems absent. But every time you act from love, from alignment, from presence, the field harmonizes. Reality becomes responsive. You begin to notice subtle alignments, the right book at the right time, the conversation that opens a new path, the sign that confirms your intuition. This is the quantum flow state, where intention, action, and synchronicity merge into one seamless movement. As you deepen this awareness, you start to realize something extraordinary. The universe isn't something out there that you need to decode. It's an extension of your consciousness folding in and out of form, showing you yourself through time and matter. You are not small. You are not a fleeting biological accident. You are a localized expression of the infinite, temporarily dreaming separation so that you can experience reunion. Synchronicity is the crack in the dream, the reminder that the veil is thin, that your thoughts ripple across galaxies, that your emotions sculpt probability, that your awareness is eternal. And as more of us awaken to this truth, the collective field begins to shift. Synchronicities increase globally. Ideas emerge simultaneously in different minds. Innovations appear in multiple places at once. Movements rise from unseen coordination. That's not coincidence. That's the unified field awakening to itself through humanity. You are part of that awakening. Every time you follow intuition instead of fear, every time you honor synchronicity instead of dismissing it, you strengthen the coherence of the collective field. You become a node of awakening, a transmitter of resonance. And the more of us do that, the faster the hologram upgrades. We are not evolving into something new. We are remembering what we have always been. Consciousness experiencing itself as infinity through finite form. Your thoughts are not whispers in the dark. They are shockwaves in the quantum sea. Every intention is a pulse, resonating through the substratum of reality. When that pulse is backed by feeling, by clarity, by coherence, it begins to sculpt probability, collapsing potentials into the world you experience. This process is called wave function collapse. In quantum mechanics, a system exists in superposition, many possibilities at once until measured, observed, or witnessed. At that moment of observation, the wave function chooses one path. In mystical terms, your awareness, your belief, your feeling is the measurement. You don't just passively watch reality, you actively collapse it. And synchronicities are the debris, the artifacts left behind where your collapse resonated with the field. Yet not all collapses are created equal. When your mind is scattered, your energy fragmented, your heart ambiguous, the collapse is weak, the manifestation is blurry. You catch glimpses of what you want, but the edges remain vague. But when your intention is backed by clarity, your emotion aligned, your being present, the collapse happens with precision. Reality reforms itself, not chaotically but elegantly. Life becomes a canvas of intention. Now imagine that every collapse you cause is not constrained to a single timeline, because in the quantum field all timelines, all possible paths, coexist in superposition. You don't move from one timeline to another. You shift your resonance so that the version of you in another timeline blurs in, merges with you. Suddenly your reality upgrades. What once felt impossible becomes natural. What once felt distant becomes immediate. This is known in mystic languages as timeline shifting or reality hopping. From a quantum perspective, it's simply realigning your vibrational frequency to a more coherent branch of the universal wave function. And synchronistic events are signals, pointers, showing you that you've landed in a new matrix of possibility. Let me paint you a picture. You walk down the street feeling stuck, heavy, disembodied. Your thoughts spin like unlit stars. Then, spontaneously, a song drifts from a cafe window, the lyrics matching your inner dialogue. Your eyes catch a billboard with a phrase you needed today. A stranger smiles, speaks your hidden name. Your soul shivers, and something shifts. You realize the collapse aligned with a higher possibility. You're no longer stuck where you were. You've shifted into resonance with a timeline where those messages are natural. Now, don't trivialize it. These signs aren't proof that the next hour will be perfect. They're proof that the frequency of your being changed. They whisper, you are aligning with a new version of you. And every small action you take from this new space carries the potency of that shift. What was improbable becomes probable. The improbable becomes expected. And synchronicities increase, not because the universe is blessing you randomly, but because your field is in coherent dialogue with the quantum architecture of possibility. So how do you live inside synchronicity, not waiting for signs but being the sign? First, hold your knowing more than your doubts. Doubts are the static in your signal. They scatter your collapse, reduce the sharpness of manifestation. But when you hold your knowing, even in the dark, as an inner compass, you stabilize the collapse toward clarity. You create a gravitational center in your consciousness that the field naturally orients toward. Second, take the next inspired step. Synchronicity is not passive. It's invitation, not idle. You feel a pull, an intuitive impulse. Act on it, even if imperfectly. That motion amplifies coherence. It says to the quantum field, I am ready to partner here. Third, let go of time-bound expectations. The quantum field doesn't think in hours or days. It moves in coherence, in resonance. You can't force a collapse to meet your deadline. You can only tune, adjust, listen, trust the intervals. Trust that the universe is never late, only crystallizing your path in synchronization with your readiness. Fourth, celebrate the subtle. Synchronicities often arrive quietly. A repeated number, a phrase you overhear in passing, a reflection in water. When you train your awareness to catch those micro-signals, your field becomes more sensitive. The volume of the universe's message increases as you become a finer receiver. Now let's return to quantum clarity for a moment. Energy equals frequency. The higher your vibrational coherence, the broader the probability wave you access. In simple physics, higher energy states allow more potential bandwidth. In metaphysical terms, the more coherent your inner state, the more generous your quantum bandwidth for possibility. So your emotional state, your integrity, your alignment, all of these open or contract your bandwidth of experience. This is not woo. Studies in quantum biology, brain coherence, heart-brain connection, even experiments in intention, have begun to map correlations. Coherent brainwave states show higher synchronicity in subjects. Emotionally coherent states influence measurement devices under controlled intention experiments. The edges of science are beginning to reflect what mystics have always known. Consciousness is participatory. You are not passive. You are a locus of causation in the field. And so, the universe begins to mirror you, not because it obeys a master but because you are an expression of it. You are the wave becoming the particle. You are the unseen making the seen. Synchronicities are the punctuation marks and the sentence of creation. They are the exhalation of your alignment. They are the wink of the infinite. Keep breathing into coherence. Let your intention be gentle, steady, luminous. Let your heart be open, responsive, courageous. Trust that as you realign, the field rewrites itself in your favor. You don't control the orchestra, you become the conductor. The melody emerges when your inner frequency resonates with the symphony. One day you'll look back and see that nothing was random, that the strands of your life, the loves, the losses, the coincidences wove themselves through you. Because you were weaving them. You were dreaming into being. And when synchronicity becomes your baseline, the ordinary miracle, you know you have remembered. You know the veil is waking. You know that consciousness is not a passenger, it is the pilot. So step into this knowing. Show up for your field. Let your intention be alive, your emotion aligned, your presence anchored in coherence. Life will begin to mirror back the geometry of your soul. Synchronicity will not just visit you, it will inhabit you. And in that inhabitation, the boundary between you and the universe dissolves. You will see there was never separation. There is only one infinite unfolding, and you are the lens through which it dreams itself awake. There comes a moment in every seeker's path when synchronicity stops being surprising. It stops being something you notice. It becomes the air you breathe. You realize it was never about decoding signs. It was about dissolving the illusion that signs were separate from you. Everything, the light in the sky, the pulse in your chest, the stranger's gaze, the silence between words is a single continuum of consciousness. You are not part of the universe. You are the universe, localized in awareness, perceiving itself through the mirror of form. And when you live from that realization, something shifts fundamentally. You stop asking for proof. You stop needing signs to believe, because the boundary between the believer and the believed has vanished. You move through life with quiet precision, guided not by fear but by resonance. You know where to go, not because someone told you, but because your entire being hums in harmony with the direction. That's the final stage of synchronicity integration. When the miraculous becomes ordinary. When you no longer chase magic because you are magic. When manifestation is not a technique but a state of coherence, the effortless flow of energy between consciousness and creation. So how do you live there in that permanent dance with the quantum field? You begin by understanding that consciousness is recursive. It reflects itself in layers. Each thought you have generates its own micro-universe of probability. Each emotion charges that universe with amplitude, and each action collapses it into reality. So manifestation is not instant because your coherence is still stabilizing. The field needs you to hold the vibration long enough for reality to crystallize around it. That's why patience isn't waiting, it's alignment maintenance. When you hold faith not as belief but as frequency, the field aligns itself to your pattern. You don't force reality, you let it unfold from the quantum blueprint of your coherence. Every time you meditate, you're syncing your brainwaves with a universal field. Every time you feel gratitude, you're amplifying your electromagnetic field, creating a resonance of abundance. Every time you forgive, you release decoherence, the interference that distorts your signal. Every time you act from love, you become a high-frequency node of intelligence in the universal matrix. And in that resonance, you begin to perceive the hidden geometry of existence. You sense that everything moves in patterns, sacred, fractal, holographic. The flower that opens, the galaxies that spin, the heartbeat that pulses, all mirror one algorithm. Expansion, contraction, creation, stillness, rebirth. The same rhythm moves through your thoughts, your relationships, your cycles of growth. Synchronicity, then, is not just a signal from the universe. It is the rhythm of creation revealing itself through your awareness. Every coincidence is a mirror fractal, a piece of the pattern, reminding you that you belong to something infinitely intelligent. Quantum theory calls this coherence. Mysticism calls it divine alignment. Art calls it inspiration, but it's all the same movement, the universe becoming aware of itself through you. This awareness doesn't remove your humanity, it deepens it. You still feel pain, loss, uncertainty. But now you see their purpose. They are recalibrations of your frequency. Every heartbreak refines the signal. Every shadow teaches you to hold light more clearly. You stop fighting contrast and start dancing with it. You realize that even what feels chaotic is synchronicity in disguise, a higher order reorganizing your path in ways your linear mind can't yet see. When you live from that place, the world transforms. You see through the illusion of luck and coincidence. You start to perceive the quantum mechanics of destiny, the way choices, emotions, and beliefs entangle across time. You sense that even your future self is guiding your present, whispering through synchronicities, the phone call that changes your life. It wasn't random. It was your future self sending a ripple backward through the field, because in a holographic universe, past and future coexist as one spectrum of possibility, both accessible through awareness now. That's why presence is power. Not because it calms you, but because it collapses the widest wave of possibilities. The more present you are, the less fragmented your energy becomes, and the stronger your signal to the field. That's where miracles are born, not from effort but from full participation in the now. And this is where science and spirituality finally converge. Quantum physics, mysticism, and consciousness research are all pointing toward one truth. The observer and the observed are not two. Reality does not exist independently of consciousness. The universe is not a machine, it's a mind. And synchronicity is that mind's heartbeat. You can feel it if you listen. When your mind grows quiet, you can hear the hum beneath everything. The subatomic music of existence. It's been playing all along, waiting for you to remember the melody. So breathe, pause, look around you now. What's the first thing that catches your eye? A word? A number? A sound? That's not random. That's your field talking to you in real time. A reminder that you are inside the dance of synchronicity right now. The more you honor it, the more it unfolds. Because attention is currency in the quantum economy. Where you place awareness, energy flows. Where energy flows, matter forms. And where matter forms, your story evolves. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. That's why you can say I am abundant 1,000 times and feel nothing. Or say it once from true coherence and the entire field rearranges to reflect it. Because words are symbols but emotion is energy. Feeling is the quantum code. So live from coherence. Think as the field thinks in patterns, in resonance, in infinite possibilities. Walk as though the universe were watching, not as a judge but as a mirror. Because it is. It always was. Synchronicity is not a phenomenon to analyze. It's the language of creation. It's how the infinite speaks to the finite. It's how you remember that the dreamer and the dream are one. And when you awaken fully, when you stop looking for meaning and start being meaning, you realize that everything is synchronicity. Every inhale and exhale, every birth and death, every silence and sound. The question is no longer why did this happen? The question becomes what is this revealing about who I am becoming? Because the universe doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. You are the axis where infinity turns into experience. So the next time the universe winks, when the same number repeats, when the right door opens, when the stranger knows your name, smile. You're not witnessing magic. You are remembering it. And when enough of us remember, when enough of us live in coherence, aware, awake, entangled in light, we will see the collective synchronicity emerge. A civilization reuniting with the field that birthed it. A humanity conscious of its quantum nature. A planet resonating in harmony with itself. That is where this story leads. Not to an ending but to a beginning we were always destined to remember. Because the universe has never been silent. It has been singing your name through every heartbeat, every particle, every moment of your life. And now, you finally remember the words. Welcome home, to the field of everything, where coincidence becomes creation, and creation becomes you.